Welcome to Answer. This is your personal philosopher speaking. Dynamite NXC asks, what is the most occult thing you know? To which I replied, how am I supposed to answer that and not get in trouble? I think I do have an answer, but first, we need to define occult. When you think occult, you probably think of the Renaissance alchemists and their secret laboratories using hand symbols and code phrases to hide from the church. The root of occult lies in the ancient mystery schools of the Egyptian priesthood, who claimed that they themselves were initiated by an older civilization lost to history. They in turn taught the Greeks who, as the Greeks do, brought it to all of Europe. Well, these cults still offer many esoteric teachings of science and spirit the world is not ready for. That is not what I'm going to discuss. You may expect me to prattle on about Jesus' lineage or Adam Kadmon's reincarnations, or perhaps even talk demiurge theory, but that is not the true nature of occultic knowledge. At its core, occultic knowledge has always been the truths not yet discussable in the commons. Reading, writing, mathematics, astronomy, chemistry, medicine, and physics have all been occult at some point. The ancient Greek schools were obsessed with the geometry we teach everyone now. Modern science would insist it has gone past this, and that anything that can be verified as truth is automatically the mainstream of science and gets a Bill Nye special. But this is far from the truth. We have yet to accept that the scientists themselves are people, and thus pedantic, dogmatic, and generally blind to anything that goes against their confirmation. After all, if you spent 30 years championing a theory, would you let it get blown away by some upstart experiment? Or would you challenge that experiment to your death? It is impossible to make a man understand something his salary relies on him not understanding. This is, in fact, an ideal time for this discussion, because there is so much modern occult knowledge bubbling right under the surface. I will not touch on any hot topics to avoid being subject of a witch hunt, but I am sure any of you could point to an issue where hard science is being ignored in favor of populism and political control. Just for fun, here are a couple that hopefully won't get me lynched. There's a growing list of evidence that humanity came out of Asia, not Africa. Every geologist I have interviewed scoffs at the well-worn concept that oil comes from decomposing dinosaurs. Without listing every problem with the standing theory, it is hypothesized that oil is the result of melting rock in the mantle. But we have the answer we want, so no funding goes into further research. Quantum is fun for being the cutting edge of occult knowledge turning into science. You may say, no, quantum is a science. But did you know that quantum theory and experiments go all the way back to 1918? It has taken 100 years of solid proof, and we still have those who deny it. Even among its adherents, they constantly pose competing theories of everything. They pick and choose what evidence they are comfortable with, instead of accepting the results and studies for what they are, the results. So to properly define occult knowledge, it is that science which is on the cutting edge and is provable, and has been shown to be reliable, but the current academia will not accept, or the current forces that be will not accept. For example, Galileo proving his wonders of the universe was occult knowledge, because the power it be placed him under house arrest for us, as so many others who were executed or tried for what is now standard science. So then, for the occult of today, and thus at last I choose my topic of occult knowledge for today, biocentrism. I choose this because it turns our understanding of the universe, our place in it, and even time entirely on its head. But I also choose it because it's championed by a world-renowned scientist and has much more evidence going for it than the current model. It's just completely ignored. When debated, it has never taken on its evidence or merits, but is instead lampooned as fanciful overreaching, as all of these things are. I also pick it because in 10 to 100 years, it'll probably be accepted as the main theory. If you want to learn more about biocentrism, I've left some links in the description. For those of you hoping to hear about Crowley, I hope this does not feel like a cop-out, and I will leave links to the more about biocentrism in the description of this video if you want to learn more about what it is. Thank you for being here, and if you want to have your question answered, please comment below.